All right, welcome. We have a wonderful special guest that we're going to be interviewing today. It's Michelle Rojas-Soto, and she's going to be talking to us from KIPP SoCal. She's their Chief Human Resources and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. Thanks for joining us to talk about our Student and Community Voice AI Summit. So my first question to you is around what you've seen around teachers and students using AI. So I'd love to hear how are at KIPP SoCal, at KIPP SoCal at least, how are teachers encouraged to use AI, and how does that mix with how students are being asked to interact with AI? Do you see a gap in development? Do you see a gap in interest? And what does that relationship look like?
At KIPP SoCal, teachers have been encouraged to experiment with AI in creating custom apps to help with their particular classes. We have access to PlayLab. All team members have access to PlayLab and the ability to create and use each other's apps. For example, some teachers have been using them to help students choose the books that they want to read during their reading time, internalizing lessons, creating custom word problems based on whatever they were discussing in class that day, and things like that. We're also piloting some specific use apps and sort of testing what that looks like from a macro level. Students are also beginning to use AI in some ways according to what the teacher is asking them to do, but they're also doing things that they're taking initiative and experimenting on their own. And so I do see a gap, and that's a gap that we're working to address. We've spoken with families also and gotten a sense of what they're looking for in their schools, their children's schools experience with AI, and we're taking that to heart. And parents want deep experimentation. They want advanced notice. They want to learn themselves how to support their children. So we're preparing to do that and making them active participants in AI adoption with their children.
Speaking of parents, have you received any pushback in terms of the use of AI from parents at school, or concerns about how technology is going to impact students' learning, and how have you addressed that?
In our meetings with parents, they told us all the good and all the bad in 45 minutes. Parents are so good and so smart. Yes, they're skeptical, they're concerned, they're also practical and realistic, and they know that AI is here whether we want to or not. They know their kids are exposed to it in every way in their daily lives, and what they want is for schools to lead ethically, critical thinking, teaching the children how to be designers and smart users of these tools, not be blind consumers of AI in their work. They don't want to lose the ability to create and to persist and persevere through hard problems. And so as we look to our next steps with AI here at KIPP SoCal, we're taking that to heart and leading with that lens in mind.
And speaking of next steps, I know that you are a part of leading a committee around recommendations for how AI and technology is used in your organization. So can you give us a sneak peek of at least a couple of those recommendations that you're going to make moving forward?
Sure. Our recommendations are anchored around 5 domains. One is policy and governance, technology infrastructure, adult development, childhood development, and frankly, I'm forgetting the last domain. But we want to be intentional in making sure that we have the infrastructure, the ability to make good decisions, and both in the leadership space and also from the bottom up, so that every team member is empowered and prepared and competent to be making decisions about AI in their purview. And we want our children to be part of that conversation, designing with us, not just consuming the experience.
I love that. And my last question as we're wrapping up here is, what have been the most maybe interesting or surprising things that you've learned from students around AI through this work?
Students are very savvy. They're because they're internet native, they've grown very skeptical of what they see online, and they tell us, and they tell mom and dad, is this real? Should I be trusting this? They're very good at questioning. They want to get behind the scenes. They want to understand the math framework, the algorithms that power AI and other tools. And so they're very engaged and they're hungry for more. If as schools we cannot provide that in a structured way, they're going to go out and get it however they can. And so it's really energizing for people like me to see kids pull us along towards where we're going.
I love that. If you don't keep up, they're gonna just keep going. I have one final question. I know that you work in administration and HR for a school district. So what customized AI tools are you using in your everyday work, or what have you used in the past couple weeks?
I use AI all day long, but it's speaking about my talent and equity and HR team on the whole. We have created custom apps for our staff, things like a benefits navigator to help people just figure out what benefits they want to take advantage of. We have tools for in-house work, things to help, for instance, HR partners with documenting their work. We have apps for the recruiters to analyze video interviews and provide feedback to hiring managers on different candidates. Project planning apps, script building apps to help us connect spreadsheets on the back end to do other things for us. Performance management coaching apps, things like that. We've scratched the surface, but there's much more to come.
That doesn't sound like scratching the surface to me.
I feel like it is. There's so much more. There's so much more on the list.
Right. Okay, awesome. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing some time with us today and sharing your experience. And we're looking forward to seeing you at the Student Community Voice AI Summit next year.
Very happy to be here. Thanks.